The Catholic Church has its first ever non-European Pope, Jorge Mario Bergoglio of Argentina, now Pope Francis. I'm Marcus Mabry for the New York Times. Bureau Chief Rachel Donadio joins me via phone from the Vatican City. Rachel, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
The Catholic Church has its first Latin American Pope and its first Jesuit Pope. Can you tell us the significance of both?
Well, I think that the significance of the first Latin American Pope is looking towards the global south, to Latin America and Africa, the parts of the world where the Catholic Church is largest and is growing more quickly. I think that it's pretty clear that under Benedict's papacy, Europe was very much a focus of his whole intellectual project, and the idea, I think, is to look more at the broader Catholic world. As for the idea of having the first Jesuit Pope, this is a real intellectual tradition, the Jesuit order, and in past centuries, the Jesuits were quite powerful, so the idea of concentrating so much power in the figure of one person, a pope who was also a Jesuit, would have been really not possible, but clearly that taboo has now been broken.
Rachel, I know lots happening there right now. We're hearing some of the announcements behind you, and you have to go back there into the flood of humanity. Can you tell us what is the atmosphere like there right now in Vatican City?
Festive, crowds happy, cheering. Everyone was so suspended in anticipation, waiting to see who would be announced after the white smoke came out. We waited for more than an hour to find out who would appear on the balcony of St. Peter's. It's rainy and cold in Rome, so the crowds were waiting in the rain. But it's kind of an exciting moment here.
All right, we'll let you get back to your reporting. Rachel, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you. I want to just add one other thing, which is that the Pope, when he came out, he spoke in this very kind of humble and conversational tone, very much, a little bit grandfatherly. He basically told the crowds, good night and have a nice rest. I'll talk to you soon.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
A really important point there that Rachel makes, and joining me now to continue our discussion is Ian Fisher, Assistant Managing Editor of the New York Times and a former Rome Bureau Chief who actually covered the last conclave. Ian, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
So that was really interesting what Rachel was talking about.
Very interesting.
This new Pope Francis's manner, which is actually quite different perhaps from his successor.
Well, his predecessor, you mean?
His predecessor.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know if it was purposeful, but the style between the two of them cannot be emphasized enough. Cardinal Ratzinger, who just resigned, was very bookish. He was very formal. He was a humble man. He didn't live lavishly, but he lived in the Vatican. He was a creature of the Vatican. It seems to me they may have been sending a message with Bergoglio of a little more humble style. Bergoglio doesn't live in the papal palace. He lives in a very simple apartment. He takes the bus. He's been very active in poverty issues. So it is a much more, again, without saying that Benedict was not humble, this is a much more, at its roots, at the parish level, humility.
Much closer to the people of Buenos Aires where he's based.
Correct.
What does it say? The recent New York Times CBS poll talked to American Catholics, and many of them wanted to see a more progressive Pope. Despite the fact that Jesuits here in the U.S. have a reputation for being progressive, this new Pope doesn't necessarily come from a liberal or progressive tradition.
He does not come from the little liberal wing of the Jesuit Church. There's very few cardinals who are. In fact, I think I can kind of say none. I don't think that Americans' expectations will be, reached very much. It's possible there might be some small changes, maybe on contraception, possibly on divorcees, getting communion, but I wouldn't expect any major changes. He's 76 years old. He's a creature of, he was a very close confidant to Ratzinger. I doubt they're going to see much change.
And what's the next step in the installation of this Pope? What can we expect to see next coming out of Rome?
Well, as I understand it, there will be an installation mass, and it may be as soon as this Sunday.
Excellent. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
That's all for now. I'm Marcus Mabry for the New York Times.